Level 100, among the abandoned. Kral is eager to begin searching the research facility. While we've discerned the purpose of the research conducted here, the traces of that remain might afford us greater insight into what came of it. Let's take a look around for information as well as a way to the upper level. What happened to the people here? Did they all leave, or did we already meet them? I'm assuming the monsters got loose. To think that people actually volunteered their souls for these experiments. Success was far from guaranteed, and even in the best case, they would cease to be men. Was their devotion to Zorolja so absolute? I mean, could be using the term volunteer very loosely. What you have to say. It won't open, and I don't think it'll yield to our shoulders either. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way and find the key. Lift can be seen behind the wrought iron gate. As sturdy as it appears, the gate will likely resist attempts to force it open. Security panel is nearby. Perhaps a verification key will open the way. One of these rooms, maybe. Journal lies next to the body. Was transferred to Uiwata Station in order to train the villagers in the use of electrope technology. While a child can quickly learn to operate common contraptions, it will be no easy thing for them to attain the requisite skill to develop new weapons, ones which require no less than the manipulation of souls. Thankfully, two of my pupils have demonstrated great aptitude in the field. Kaneloka, the village chief, and Tishalja, a field chirurgeon. Further driven by their loyalty to our king, their growth has been remarkable. I dare to hope that before long they will be able to carry out their duties without further instruction, and I may be relieved of my duty. You find nothing that resembles a verification key. Perhaps you should search elsewhere. Still useful information. I wonder what Becklook would make of this research into transferring souls. Researchers likely move between the upper and lower levels. Perhaps we can find a key among their belongings. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing, right? Makes me angry to think about what they did here. Human experimentation, not cool. They're recruiting volunteers for a new experiment. I know I'm not as bright as the others, but they wouldn't laugh at me if I was stronger than them. This might be my chance. Soul transferred a few days ago. I can write good. Yes, I am good, very good. Getting hard to control strength. Today bit off hand of feeder. Cannot help it, so strong. Hungry, always hungry. Cannot control. Eat, I must eat. Am eater, must eat. You find nothing that resembles a verification key. Perhaps you should search elsewhere. Perhaps. Mayhaps in the open cabinet? Supplies for the staff are neatly arranged within the cabinet. Among the various items is a manual outlining regulations and tranquilizing gas to be used in emergencies. You dig deeper. Find a verification key. Perhaps it can be used to open the iron gate. You found the key? Great, I'll call the others. Seems the key can be used to operate the lift as well. Up we go. So this is the observatory. I didn't expect it to be similar, but this is a far cry from the temple that held Valagramanda. All the machinery appears to still be in operation. I expect there are auxiliary systems in place to ensure that monitoring can continue even in emergencies. The warnings indicate various anomalies related to the seal's failure, most likely. For a blessing, we managed to fell the beast before it could cause harm. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Right, then let's see if we can find some clues about Galul Jah's mother. I think I can use this terminal. Jail taught me how. Oh yeah, he's the king, right? So he would have access at least. There's so much data. I don't what we should look at. What we should look at. Perhaps we can narrow down the search by inputting the name of Tishal Jah. I brought up a lot of results. They all seem to say the same thing. Tishal Jah, Administrator of Experimental Treatments, Research Logs. This sounds good, doesn't it? Chances are the data is encrypted, and even if not, it will take considerable time to go through it all. And let us take it with us to the back room and have Shale analyze it. Agreed. Alright, I'll transfer it to the storage device I brought. There, it's finished. Thank you so much for bringing me all the way here, everyone. If you're happy, then so am I. Besides, I was able to learn more about my brother as well. It was a fruitful adventure for the both of us. And here we are. The authorities will doubtless wish to be informed about the facility and its contents. But first things first, let us deliver the data to Shale. To the back room. Welcome back. Galul Jah has already given me the storage device. Looks to be a wealth of data, all of which is encrypted, so I'll need time to process everything. In that case, Alize and I might take ourselves around the city and check on the people. Aye, their mood has us a bit worried. I don't know if there's anything we can do to help, but we'll see. Understood. I'll let you know as soon as I finish my work. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Level 100, Among the Abandoned. Complete. Geode, level 100, Guidance of the Hetso. Geode's concern is writ plain upon his face. Alizé isn't wrong, the mood out there is still grim. Some of the Tirali remember a time before they were dependent on the Sol system, but even they're unsettled and worried aloud if they'll have the chance to reunite with old friends and family before they pass on. Good reason, too. The journey home won't be an easy one for those who've grown old. That's why it's mostly been younger folk who've been leaving for Tiral, ones with no elders to care for. Word of that problem has reached us in Tuliolo. My brother is doing all he can to see the Jacques Tiral Railroad restored to operation so that people may come and go more freely. Fortunately, the tracks only go as far as Vanguard, so some traveling by foot will still be necessary. Even so, the railroad would make things a sight easier. How long before it's back in service? Couldn't say. When I left for the visit, Koana seemed reluctant to make promises. But while Shale's working on the data, we could go and see the state of it for ourselves. The Shaolani Station, then. I'll make sure to keep Koana informed. I think this one's closer. Closer it is, like right here. Valve resolve and Zilla Lazati to boot. What can I do for you? We're hoping for some good news about the railroad. There's an increasing number of people looking to return to Tiral that can't make the journey on foot. I see. As it happens, Vow of Reason is also on his way here to take stock of the situation. Scratch the on his way. Aaronville. Looking good, Aaronville. Gasp. Did our little Bun finally outgrow his old clothes? Stop that. As you well know, my previous attire was that of a gleaner, and I have chosen a different path. It was time for a change. You hear about the railroad, too? It was in part for my sake that the original Dawn Blazer was sacrificed, so I felt it only right that I assist with its replacement. Speaking of which, I assume Lamachi has explained the growing urgency of the need. What have you to report? New locomotive was on track for completion, but we're having difficulty pulling her into the station, in a manner of speaking. You see, when we used the Dawn Blazer to get into the dome, urgency outweighed all other considerations, but now we're back to our original problem, how to run the railroad without upsetting the inhabitants of Mewadzone. Oh yeah, the little village, right? It is the Ronique, the Hetsuro that followed them are none too pleased about their Hetso being spooked by the noise of the locomotive either. The solution I've devised to quieten the railroad should address that complaint. The silent train presents a different danger. The Ronique will need to be deterred from wandering across the tracks. I suppose we can't just blow the whistle at them or they'll panic and be put off their grazing again. Weren't the rail routes plotted to avoid the Ronique's preferred grazing areas, though? It's odd that they're getting so close in the first place. The Ronique's grazing patterns have shifted since the tracks were laid. I am not certain why, but I intend to ask the people of Mewa for their insight. Best I can do. As a major proponent of the railroad, I have a duty to assist in this matter, and I too would hear what the Hetsuro have to say about it. They are the ones most affected, after all. I believe it would be best to begin by consulting their leader, Wato. The rest of you can accompany us to the Hetsuro encampment if you like. Vow of resolve, vow of reason. I bid you welcome to our camp, but what brings you all the way to Mero? I thank you for seeing us. Our visit concerns the matter of the Jacques Tarral Railroad. You too have noted the Ronik's unexpected change in behavior then. My son, Shepetto, has been looking into this matter. Shepetto? Could it be the big electrical dome nearby? Normally we'd expect the Ronik to keep their favorite grounds nearby for a while yet, and despite a thorough search, we haven't found anything wrong with the quantity or quality of the grazing in Yaronon Land Yonton and Yotonane. Yet they refuse to keep to where they usually would, instead pushing westward toward your railroad. Certainly see no cause for this unseasonal migration. Nevertheless, should they continue to move west, we will follow. As any true Hetzenor would, I suppose. As you may have surmised, I am of Hetzero descent. My parents traveled with the Roniks as well, though I myself have no memory of the experience. I was left behind as a babe, you see, during such a migration, one of many sacrifices necessitated by nomadic lifestyle, I am forced to assume. Chance encounter with a kind Pelu merchant was the only reason I survived. Taking pity on me, he taught me his trade and that I might fend for myself. Became a stall keeper until Iolo's markets, and that is where the Dawn servant found and adopted me. I had already been in the palace for some time when Lamachi came to join us. Like me, she had been cast aside by her parents. I knew the pain of solitude and wanted to spare her that suffering. As this tiny child's new brother, I swore I would always be there for her. Yeah, I remember that part. Truly, I've never heard of the Ronik choosing a path so arduous as to force such a terrible decision, nor any Hetzero willingly leaving their own flesh and blood behind. There must have been some exceptional circumstance. I cannot say the idea of following in their footsteps that I might better make excuses for their actions never much appealed to me. If they had good reason, wouldn't you want to know? Even if it might help you better understand the Ronik's current behavior? Yes, appealed to his inquisitive side. As it's so often the case, you are correct. And my discomfort with the Hetzero way may arise from the fear of reopening old wounds rather than blind fervor for innovation. It would nevertheless see me repeat past mistakes. And to refuse to learn one of our country's treasured traditions would make me a poor Dawn servant indeed. Please teach me of the Ronik and what they mean to you. I promise to listen with an open mind. We would be delighted. In the meantime, your companions are welcome to look around. Will you learn of Hetzero culture with me? I should like to approach this with fervent curiosity that you and my sister share, but it would be useful to know whether I am doing it correctly. When it's settled, you'll learn more of the Ronik, and we'll have a look around the plains, and perhaps in the process we'll find the answers we seek. The quickest way to learn about our way of life is to do as we do. I hope you're not above manual labor. I am not the most experienced, I'm ashamed to admit, but I shall put forth every effort. That's all we ask. Take these tools. Now introduce yourself to anyone who looks busy and ask if it can help. They'll be happy to teach you what to do in exchange for another pair of hands to do it. Let's meet back here later to share what we've learned. Appears to be a few. Start down at the water's edge. Not you. You. As you stroke the Ronik's coat, you note that many portions are shaggy and tangled. This one's fur is a bit overgrown, but a good brushing should thin it out. Would you like to give it a try? You'll need the right tool for the job, mind you. A comb of the type you're used to would just get lost in the tangle like as not. Ah, Shepetto sent a Ronik brush with you, did he? I like him. Now I just run it through one little patch at a time, gently. You dutifully brush the Ronique until your arms grow weary from the prolonged battle with its coat. It appears much tidier now, though the same cannot be said for your clothes, which have acquired a new coat of their own. Well done. With less excess fur, our friend here will be more comfortable in the afternoon heat and less susceptible to illness. Combed coat also makes it easier for us to identify injuries should the need arise. You're learning about the Hetzero way of life, are you? I may have a thing or two to share, but rather than talking your ear off, let me test your powers of deduction. I find answers much easier to recall later if I arrive at them myself. And our Hetzo provide us with something that we can use in medicines, poultices, and soap to drive away pests and to stain our fires. What is it? Bones, hooves, and hooves, bones? Is it dung again? Meat and organ meat? Sounds like there's a story there, but that is indeed the correct answer. We've discovered myriad uses for Ronique chips over time, and each a boon to our way of life. Where there is a need, our Hetzo always provide. This won't do. The wind will go right through it, and me without my needle and sinew. Oh, these are precisely what I needed. I should be able to patch up the covering now. Given how often we pack up and reassemble our tents, they're bound to get the occasional tear. Fortunately, the Ronique hide they're made of is durable enough that we generally needn't worry. I'm afraid I've finished with my task for the time being, but since you're so eager to learn about our way of life, why don't I tell you a bit about our migration customs? If you are here, you likely already know that the Ronique are our Hetzo, our guides, and that we travel with through the turning of the seasons. We trust them to lead us to fertile lands with all we need to survive. But you may not know that sometimes the herd splits into two, bound for different paths. On those occasions, we Hetzero must also part with half of our number. You may think it strange and stressful custom, but over the years it has seen us visit new lands and broaden our horizons as a people. This too is the wisdom of the Hetzo. Okay, so they went a separate way than him when he was a kid, I guess. He got separated. You smell of the grass and the wind, which is a good thing, I promise. You could nearly be mistaken for one of us. You even look the part. I have to wonder how Val Koenig is getting on. I assumed he would be reluctant to get his hands dirty, but it seems his wish to understand us was sincere. Ah, there he is now. Apologies for my tardiness. I was tasked with grazing the Ronique and ended up rather far afield. Found myself wandering hither and thither as my companion's inclination to force us back to the trail seemed inappropriate. But how was your own work? Have you anything to share? Hetzero life revolves around the Ronique, but in turn the people receive all they need. The Ronique are treasured members of this community as important as family. Yes, I feel the truth of this myself. While I was hesitant to leave my fate to the whims of the Hetzo rather than tread man-made paths, I arrived where I was meant to be all the same. Mine is not the only way, though at times I lack the experience to know otherwise. My inability to conceive of how a decision might be right does not mean that it is wrong. My parents had a duty to the Ronique as they did to me, and so I wonder if their leaving me behind was not so selfish an act as I once believed. I have no way to know, of course, and regardless, this has no bearing on our present concerns. We are here in service of the people of Tyrol, after all. Nevertheless, I thank you for helping me find deeper meaning in what we've done today. I will endeavor to remain curious, especially where the Hetzo are concerned. I'm glad to hear that, Valkoana. You're welcome among our herd anytime. Level 100, Guidance of the Hetzo. Roast Ronique. Don't have any of these. Crit. Spell speed. Crit. Level 100, the warmth of family. Koana appears loath to part from his Roni companion. Now he made a friend. Koana, how did it go? I believe I finally understand the significance of the Hetso. They nourish the Hetzero as they grow and provide warmth and companionship in a harsh and unpredictable world. They're the equal of any man, not beasts to be tamed. Moreover, Ronique are sensitive. Though we may treat their injuries or brush their coats to keep them hale, they must ever be free to follow their instincts and seek lands where they might thrive. Hetzero would never cage them, and neither should we. To control their migratory patterns or capture those who wander too close to the tracks is out of the question. It is particularly important to advance our original line of inquiry. Fortunately, we were able to visit the Ronique's once favored grazing grounds. As we were told, the grass looks fine, but the place is too quiet. It's not just the Ronique. Even the birds and field mice have fled. We did encounter one pack of Ceratoraptors, but they looked to be passing through in a hurry. Typically, that sort of behavior in the fauna would be associated with natural disasters, earthquakes, landslides, and the like. Though the Hetzero would have surely put two and two together were the cause geological, I measured the area's ether to be certain. There was indeed nothing to suggest recent environmental disruption, but I did notice one anomaly. Strong etheric signature to the east, moving across the plain, albeit slowly. Something's coming. Large animal, perhaps? What do you think, Koana? Care what he thinks. The powerful one, like, is not a predator given the local fauna's behavior. One of the raptors we saw looked like it had a bite taken out of its tail by something with very large fangs. Couldn't be Turahetso. The Turahetso. Ronique Reaver in the common tongue, or people have several names for such creatures. Fangs that steal Hetso in the night is another evocative one. Ronique can fend off many predators with their horns, but not the Turahetso. Their scales are tough as adamant, and neither horn nor arrow can pierce them. Well-toothed carnivore is an unusually tough hide. I cannot recall any such fauna in this region. They usually roam the wilds in the northeast, and most herds keep well clear of them. I can tell you why this one is so far from home, and its pack both. In any case, I believe the source of the Ronique's consternation is clear, as is our next move. We must drive this Reaver away, that they might return to their grazing lands in peace. Never fear, we will make certain that the beast threatens you no more. Oh, we have a duty? Okay, we just did the dungeon as Pictomancer. Maybe we should do Viper. Ronique Reaver is a clear threat to the local population. We cannot allow it to roam unchecked. But it won't do for us to go running off in search of it without having made proper preparations, and if others returning from across the plain have spotted it, they may be able to inform us of its recent behavior and where it might be found. Progress through the upcoming battle will be saved at certain points. In the event that you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Okay, it's one of those. Please note that if you enter battles associated with other quests or logged out from the game, the progress will be lost. Duty calls. Commence battle for the warmth of family. Level sync is in effect. If you are above the maximum allowed level, will be synced as follows. Level 100, item level 730. Proceed. I know we could have stayed Pictomancer, but we just did the dungeon as that, so figured different job.
Hetsu is coming this way!
Guess we don't have to go looking for it now.
It has beasts across the plains in a panic, and our Ronek are practically paralyzed with fear. We must get them to safety!
We can assist by helping to calm the creatures. Once they're less agitated, it should be possible to hurt them.
And after they're out of harm's way, we'll deal with the Ronek Reaver.
I suggest you remain here to attend to the Ronek when they arrive.
They'll be safe with me. Please, be careful out there.
Make haste! We must protect the Ronek!
Don't worry, we're right behind you.
Yeah. I think I see.
There they are!
They're terrified. We must do what we can to soothe them.
How do we stroke them? Or soothe? They're not let's see, stroke. Definitely missing something. Oh, that's why. I just ran up to the wrong one, that's all. Wow, I am dumb.
That herd should be all right. Let's look for stragglers. The Ronek are to rally too. None shall be left behind. There must be something up ahead. Come! There!
These are no match for the likes of us.
In a panic was clearly an understatement.
Oh, why are you so jittery? Every time after an update.
More are coming!
You're mine!
Haven't played this job in a while either.
All or nothing, then.
I mean, he's the alpha, right?
It seems that did the trick.
Okay, where do we go now?
For the fodder, at least. But where's...
There it is.
Look there!
Oh, it's
We
kind
got
of
a big
pretty.
one coming!
Impenetrable scales and wicked fangs. That's a Ronak Reaver, and no mistake.
There! That one there!
Shoot it! Shoot it! There you go.
Not so fast! Even should it cost me my life. I will save the head soul!
Ah!
Let me have a crack at it.
Are you alright?
Do not concern yourself with me. Get the Ronek to safety!
There. You've nothing to fear.
Right! Let's finish the job!
I made a vow to our people. You shall plague them no longer! You'll find the vow of reason is not without resolve.
Damn it! Not even a scratch!
Buy me some time to think, will you? It must have a weakness, and I will find it. Keep it busy. I need time.
What do you think I'm doing? Okay, yeah, we're not like doing any damage to it.
Right. Go for the legs. Now we just have to keep it pinned. Get thinking, Kona!
A protective current of ether. But whence does it flow? I've got it!
This is our best chance.
One well-placed piercing round to the chest, and...
Where are you holding that thing?
you're done for!
You gonna open up its weakness? Yeah.
That stemmed the flow of protective ether. Right on the mark.
There's nothing stopping us now! Still not backing down, huh? Fine with me!
Only at 40%.
We must disperse that ether ere the river recovers it!
This is going to hurt.
Got it. Duty complete.
We did it.
That we did.
The Etso, are they?
The Ronek have all made it to Mehua Hetsuan. Hunters are scouring the area for any remaining threats, but the local fauna appear to have calmed down.
We cannot thank you enough for your timely aid. You, most of all, Bow of Reason. We feared you would be loath to take direct action, yet you didn't hesitate to put your life on the line for our Hetso.
I did no more than is a Dawn servant's duty. The ethereal conductivity of those scales is astounding. I dare say we could repurpose them to create a device that emits controlled pulses of ether.
Ether resembling that of the predator the Ronek fear most. It might work. If we struck the right balance, we would have the means to deter the Ronek from approaching the railroad without causing them undue distress.
Incredible! Kona, you've done it again.
I must say, I was hoping I'd never have to see one of these again. Still haven't forgotten the last one. And it's been more than 20 years now. I had come as a trader to the camp in Lozenihetta. A camp that was obliterated in an instant by that monster.
Lozenihetta. That's where the Pelu trader found me as a babe. Please, can you tell me what you saw?
As I said, I had traveled there to trade with our fellow Hetzaro. Like us, they followed the Ronek. And like us, they were visited by a reaver. The fiend struck like a whirlwind in the night. It was chaos. I grabbed some token belongings and bolted in a panic, thinking only of getting as far away as possible. But even in my panicked state, I could not help but notice the young couple racing the other way, toward the fell creature. "We're distracted," I heard one cry. "Save our son! Save the Hetzo!" After that, nothing but the pounding of my heart and feet and Ronek thunder. I ran and ran. And as the sun broke the horizon, I found myself separated from both man and beast. Windborne words say that a group of survivors reunited with their remaining Ronek and have long since moved on. But still more were never seen again, including the brave couple. Or so the story goes.
And what became of their child?
I'm afraid I don't know. But if he wasn't with the survivors, even if he lived through that night, the wilderness wouldn't have been kind to a little one out on his lonesome.
Maybe not. But perhaps a passing Pelu would. And one day, even a Dawn servant himself. All these years, I was convinced that my parents had left me behind to follow after the Ronek. But now I see, they didn't abandon me. They were trying to keep me safe. I've wasted so much time resenting them, when in truth, they gave me everything I have today. It is thanks to them that I live to know the warmth of family, even after they were gone. And now that I am Dawn servant, all of Tuliyola is my family. A family I will always protect, as my parents protected me.
To know that the Hetzo are safe is more than enough, yet would it be wrong to hope that in protecting them we also avenged my parents? It is the least I owe to them after all this time. I thank you for standing by me as Dawn servant and as often perfect man beneath that mantle. Let us return our attentions to the matter we came here to address, shall we? We have removed the root cause of the Ronik straying from their favored grazing and obtained the tools to devise an additional precautionary measure, a silent whistle as it were. Kind of like a scarecrow, I was thinking, but this whistle must be capable of emitting pulses of ether strong enough that they will shy away from the tracks or an instinct, yet not so strong to drive them into a panic. If we can achieve this, it will be a far sight better than a traditional whistle, more effective and less stressful for the creatures themselves. Let's return to Shaolani Station and begin to work on it. Wawalika and his crew will doubtless be relieved to finally have a solution. No, we just thought we would have to go back to town. Aliens. You look pleased about something. Good news for the railroad, I take it. So the Ronik were avoiding a predator. Smart ones they are, and Valcon is not too bad himself. What with his whistle idea, sit tight and we'll have this train on the tracks before you know it. Sit tight, yes. Okay.
We're ready to go.
works as good as new.
If I had time to do a proper job, could have really made her shine. Had to cobble together the exterior with spare parts. We refurbished the interior, though. Not that you can appreciate it from out here. But as far as the Ronek are concerned, we've spared no effort. From the ballast to the ties, we've adjusted every bit of the track so she'll run quiet as a field mouse.
You and your crew have worked wonders. Our nation is in your debt.
Come now. If anything, credit's due to Tuliolal. It's thanks to the folk you recruited from every corner of the continent that we were able to get her up and running so quickly. Besides, the ethereal whistle's the true marvel, and we wouldn't have that without the scales you brought us. However grateful you are, know that we're even more thankful.
Right. If we're done talking, let's put this train through her paces.
There's a Ronek up ahead.
Now, to test our whistle.
On it. Just point it in the general direction and...
It's moving away. Meanwhile, our friends over there appear wholly unperturbed.
We did it.
With this, we can alert those who wander too close without disturbing the rest of the herd.
A roaring success! In a quiet way, like. Then with your permission, Vow of Reason, the Shaktaral Railroad is back in service.
For a while there, we were real worried that we'd never get the railroad running again. Now that test drive was such a success, we can breathe easy and start hauling people to and from the dome. First Shaolani and then the continent, watch out. Dr. Raw, here we come. I share the sentiment, but we've got a mountain of work ahead of us to ensure smooth operations. Time to get back to it. Efforts of all here today have not gone unnoticed. Once more, I thank you. As for our own work, I trust you can handle matters in Alexandria, Lamachi? Level 100, the warmth of family, complete. Level 100, Crossroads. Never want to stand still. Wuklamat is ready to race back to Alexandria. Can we just take the train? Well, it's possible that Shale's made some headway by now, and regardless, we should spread word that the railroad's been restored to service. Shale, what do you have her working on? Kaluja's mother. I feel the same in his shoes, have felt the same. Some questions are painful to leave unanswered. There's no cause to look at me like that. The Kakuya we met may have only been a simulacrum, but her memory was real. I needn't search for what she left behind because she left it with me, and I will carry it always. Speaking of things you're carrying, is that a teeny tiny Kakuya? What? No. It's merely a token from Alexandria. Our friends in Oblivion would not take no for an answer, and I thought it as good a souvenir as any. Whatever you say, for what it's worth, I think it's a nice way to bring her with you on your travels. Yes, well, you're off to the dome now, aren't you? Thought I might join you for a time, see if there's aught I can do for the people there. Much changed though it is, I still consider it my home. Of course, we can give you a full story on the way. You heading to the back room? See to the back room, yes. Simple yet elegant solution, and thus is the railroad back in operation. Meanwhile, Shale has nearly finished processing the data. She will be able to share her findings with us imminently. Here she is. I'm interrupting something, I gather. Why, Stola, what brings you here? I've seen enough of the gate and the Skydeep's a note for now, so I'm shifting my investigation to living memory. While there, I thought I would do well to have the company of an expert on electro. I'd like to take a closer look at the place myself. I can join you once we've finished here. Lest you fear I've forgotten, once I've made headway with living memory, the key in your keeping shall be the next subject of my scrutiny.
There was a mountain of data to sift through, much of it tantalizing, I admit. But it will take time to fully decrypt everything that piques my interest, so to answer our immediate question, I've been concentrating my efforts on the audio saved by Taishulja herself. While I've not listened to it yet, I have a selection ready for playback. Would you like to hear it now?
Yes, please.
Aw.
All right. Several audio files will now play in sequence.
My name is Teishalja, and I decided to record this to help me put my thoughts in order, I suppose.
Mother?
Officially I was a Virgin with the Lance Guard. I was part of a contingent dispatched to Yasulani to hunt a Tural Vidral that was wreaking havoc. After our mission was complete, I elected to remain. It was the perfect opportunity to document the geographic distribution of medicinal herbs in this region. Or so I said when requesting special dispensation. In truth, I could not bear to return to Tuliolal. I had hoped to aid Commander Zoralja in the right of succession, but he did not so much as look my way. I was never in contention, of course, one of the nameless many in his army. To go back and face that reality was too much for me, so I ran, and in my cowardice, I stumbled upon this path, a path that changed my life. When the dome appeared, I found myself trapped within, and reunited with my commander. How am I to speak of Commander Zoralja? I admired him. His incontestable strength, his unwavering focus. He was a man of great passions. I watched him, captivated by his intensity. From afar, I would not dare approach. And in watching, I came to know him. His eyes too sought the distance, but not as mine did. He yearned not for another, but something else, beyond the horizon. That gaze would never fall upon me. I knew. The experiment will soon proceed to its next phase, and when it does, as he promised, I will have my heart's desire. Today. It should have been today. The beginning. What I have dreamed of for so long. I hold a future in my arms. If he could see him, embrace him, surely that would be enough. So full of hope I was. A foolish hope.
Its scales are blue.
He's your son.
No, I can't. I don't know how. How could I? How? To raise a child, be a father. I don't. I can't. No! Get it away from me. Get that thing away from me!
come around, we'll be a happy family. Can you look at shouting for me? The research hasn't been going well, but I can't let him take it out on my baby. Hush now, little one. I know just where to hide you.
Did he kill his mom? Did he kill her?
That's all of them.
He was abandoned, the poor dear. We found him in the drift downs a few years ago.
We know some manner of accident happened at the facility after this was recorded. Perhaps your mother couldn't come back for you.
Hey, Gololcha.
I'm fine, Lamachi. Father and mother, they were both so lonely. If we could have been together, maybe they wouldn't have been. But sometimes things don't work out, no matter how hard you try.
Oh, he's such a good boy.
I can't tell if I'm happier now. But it's better to know, I think. Thank you, everyone.
Aww. It's better to know. A profound response for one so young. Though I wish he didn't have to be. Galulja is indeed wise beyond his years. Yet one never outgrows the need for dependable companions. 'Tis fortunate that he has you. Thank you, Shale. Because of you, I got to hear my mother's whole story. You heard it because you were brave enough to listen, Galulja. If you remember one thing, remember that. Now then, having shared what I can at present, I am ready to head to living memory when you are. I'm planning to be thorough, so we will need to stop for supplies on the way. That said, I promise we won't remain over long. I know we all have much and more to attend to. For now, farewell. A word before you leave. Our network's already spreading word of the railroad. We expected people would be clamoring to get on the first train back. Yet the reaction's been the polar opposite. Scant few seem inclined to depart Alexandria anytime soon. But when we spoke before, you said many from Tiliolo were eager to reunite with friends and family. Maybe they're concerned about getting through Vanguard. If so, we could take turns accompanying them. In any case, we need to speak with the people ourselves. Let's start at Lano 9. There may still be people gathering in Praxis Park. Let's try there first.
people look uneasy. Did something happen?
Have you heard? Someone was killed in the Thunder Yards.
The Thunder Yards was one of the hunters slain by a beast.
It was a hunter, all right, and a veteran at that. But it was no fiend that did him in. Only a random bolt of lightning.
Such a senseless way to die. They say that he expended his last soul cells during Zaraljar's attack on the city.
For an upright, hard-working man to meet such an unceremonious end, it feels wrong.
But we'll be fine, won't we? Even if the system no longer erases our memory of the departed, the regulators continue to function. I shan't go before my time. Growing old and passing peacefully with the help of the ushers is only natural.
Well, you may think so, but how are we to know? We have no memory of those who have gone. More may have met violent deaths than passed from old age, and we would be blissfully unaware. It could happen to you, or me, to any of us.
Then what are we to do? Spend every waking moment thinking only of how we might die?
With time, I had hoped that they'd be able to adjust to their new situation. But it's only gotten worse.
Look! It's Queen Sphene!
What?
Help, Queen Sphene! The grown-ups are really upset, and I don't know what to do!
I see that you are as kind-hearted as ever, Nico. Never fear. I'm here to set things aright.
I don't understand. Sphene is gone. Forever.
We have an Asian. They back. Or did he do something?
You there, Gusson. You were the Queen's aide, weren't you? What's the meaning of this?
Begging your pardon, Vow of Resolve. But Her Majesty Queen Sphene is paying visit to her people, as is her wont.
What are you talking about? Sphene is dead. You officiated the funeral yourself. We all placed flowers to mourn her passing.
A funeral? For Her Majesty?
Something with the regulators. Back up.
What a curious jest. You know full well that ceremony was to commemorate those lives lost during the attack of Alexandria. Her Majesty walks among her people that she might support them in this most trying of times. Surely that is not cause for consternation.
Your Majesty, won't you free us from these terrible memories of the departed? This is no way to live, not for us, nor our children.
I wish that I could. Truly I do. But with living memories shut down, even I cannot restore the system that once afforded us that comfort. You needn't fret, however.
I have prepared an alternate solution. All of us shall be made endless. I have created a new system that allows you to transplant your memories directly into an ethereal vessel. One not reliant upon soul cells. This way, you need never again fear death. You may live as you please, and for as long as you like. Our stores of ether are, at present, not sufficient to provide this boon to everyone. But some of you received neo-regulators for the funeral ceremony, did you not? And there are still more we have yet to distribute. 5,000 in all. One day soon, those with neo-regulators will be called to join the Endless, and thence be free of suffering forevermore.
But only 5,000 of us?
You Victor! The real Sphene would never be content to save only some of her people. Who are you?
I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
Let's return to the back room. I need to calm down, and then we'll talk.
We only caught the proclamation from a distance, but I can tell you that the message about neo-regulators was received with utmost clarity. It couldn't have been Sphene. She should have been destroyed when the Mesto terminal shut down. That a single Alexandrian to bear witness, presented with an identical figure claiming to be their beloved queen, it's no surprise they would choose to believe she's alive. What is troubling, however, is their denial that the funeral was held in her honor. 'Tis as if their memories have been erased. Is it the data we brought, maybe? Given that the members of the Oblivion remain unaffected, it was likely the work of the regulators, but by whose design? Someone smart enough to play at being the Queen of Reason in that guise. Even if some suspect deception, most of Alexandria will be on her side. I need to find out who she really is. Well, I agree wholeheartedly. We should avoid drawing more attention than we already have. We must be patient until Oblivion's network turns up a lead, or until our self-proclaimed queen makes her next move. Level 100, Crossroads. Complete. Meanwhile, in living memory,
Oh, where am I? My people? Are they safe?
Dean?
Why am I...
Fear of death, the people turned. Queen reborn, their fates to learn. Achievement unlocked. Crossroads.